What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and
we make the strings louder.
we're working on the C6 Corvette today. Just got off David. What was that? Disturbing the video.
Missed.
I guess. What were you doing? Were you just throwing it or what?
Yeah, I was just like giving up.
You gave up.
Like
I guess
like that first event.
The first event.
Yeah.
So I'm late for Drift Week is what it is, but we're gonna be able to get down there a little bit faster because today we're actually installing, today, tonight, tomorrow, whatever, a set of PRC heads from Texas Speed and a Texas Speed camshaft, as well as some other stuff that goes along with it. You know, some Johnson lifters. We got some ARP bolts. Basically everything that we need. Different push rods. Everything that we need to actually get this thing back together. So the LS7s have an issue with the way that the rocker pushes down the valve in the seat. It like pushes it to the side, like tension on it, and it like grinds the seat, and it essentially like makes it so it like wobbles, and then eventually they get loose and then they break, and then you drop a valve and then you like destroy your engine, like $10,000 engine with like titanium rods and all that stuff. And these engines are really expensive, so we don't want to do that. Drifting it, hitting the rev limiter is kind of where I think that type of stuff happens when you're beating on them on the track. But yeah, so these are the PRC. They are the 285cc cylinder heads, and these are actually a brand new casting. So me being the last minute type of guy that I am, ran out of time before, you know, Drift Week type of thing. I mean, I should have probably been working on this thing about a month ago, doing all the stuff that we're doing to it now. But anyhow, what typically you do is you send in your cylinder heads and they machine them. They could port them out to about 265 cc's. I think stock's like 230, something like that. But anyhow, they CNC port your stock ones, but we just didn't have time. So we ended up going with a set of the 285 brand new cylinder heads, and they cast them so that I guess they could port them out a little bit more. So we got big dog cylinder heads on it, and this is their 2.2 cam. It's not like the crazy camshaft in it because I didn't want to take all the low end torque out of it. And I think this is going to be a really good driftable combo. But in order to do that, you actually have to basically pull the engine or transmission. We also are doing a clutch at the same time. So we got lots of stuff to do, but we're basically just going to start yanking this engine or tranny, or the engine and the tranny. And Dave's over here to help me with it.
Yep.
We've both never done this before, and I got to leave for Drift Week in like 2 or 3 days, so we gotta get going. So last night got the radiator and everything out of here, but it's a new day, so trying to get some more stuff. One of the things I'm trying to do is leave the actual AC condenser in here, unbolt the AC compressor from the side of the block over here, and then actually just basically leave it on the side and try to actually disconnect the engine from the torque tube and like pull it forward and up, and then hopefully leave the torque tube in there. I don't know, we have to replace this whole subframe anyhow. Already was getting the lower control arm bolts and stuff out of it last night, but you can see this is the whole ear right there that busted off, so we need to replace the subframe. Yeah, there's lots of things to get done on here, but you know, just gotta get started, I guess. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to, I guess, try to pull the engine on this. So I'm doing it a little bit of a different way than a lot of people do. Most people, well, they either just remove the steering rack to do the heads in the cam, because you have to, you know, pull off the harmonic pulley, and there's no room right here. So you have to pull the steering rack, do all that stuff. But what I'm actually going to do, basically leave the torque tube in the car. So what we did is we removed this little plate, and then we actually unbolted it right there. You can see it's already kind of starting to separate. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Corvette, engine is up here, clutch and everything is right here. There's basically a drive shaft with a input shaft for a transmission on the end of it that goes all the way back here. Goes into like a little guibo, which is like one of those little things that you see on a BMW drive shaft, and then the actual transmission is back here. So here's the TR6060, and that's basically bolted to the differential, and that's how you get that perfect like 50-50 weight distribution, because you have the engine in the front, transmission, fuel tank, all that stuff in the back. Texas Speed, they sent me out a flat bill. What do you guys think? Am I a flat bill guy? Sean's a flat bill guy.
Oh, my favorite.
Ty's kind of he's
in the middle, yeah. Baseball and flat guy.
I'm normally not a flat bill guy, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Flat bill or no?
Oh my god.
You don't like that?
That's tight.
Well, it fits my head. Like
that
it
way.
like goes in like the groove.
You're a homie now, a Texas Speed homie.
I'm a Texas Speed homie. That's
right.
right.
I'm a Carhartt homie. They didn't send us more hats.
See, Ty's your son says homie. You're not even a Motion Auto homie.
That's a real dude.
But yeah, so everything is pretty much disconnected up front. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to suspend the engine with the engine hoist down low, and then we're going to drop the subframe. And then since the subframe won't be in the way, we should be able to just pull the engine forward and go from there. Leave the torque tube in the car. Don't have to deal with all that stuff in the back. And that's kind of the plan. So yeah, Ty's upset at me for driving this thing with this.
Sketchy, dude.
It was fine.
Yeah, that was good.
There's a bolt in the back of it, and you can't get this control arm off if you wanted to. Like with this amount of stuff, like
Until you're driving and you hit a lovely pothole. Like
I was just doing. I only did a couple pulls here, but yeah, this thing's getting ready to come out of here pretty soon. Guys, so went ahead and got the new camshaft installed here. See, got the cylinder heads off, got the lifters and everything out, got the little lifter bucket trays, rockers, push rods, everything out of it, and then just went ahead and put the camshaft in it. You know, just kind of was working away. So these are the new cylinder heads right here. These are the PRC 285cc ported like big dogs. Normally, what a lot of people do on the LS7s is they send in their cylinder heads to Texas Speed, or they have like basically a set of customer heads, or like a core set already, and they'll basically just send them out, or try to send them out if they have them in stock. And with the timeline and everything, we just didn't have time to send my heads in and get it back. Obviously, you can see we're basically doing this in the same night. We got big dog cylinder heads now, so we're actually doing more of an upgrade, so we're not just wasting our time. But yeah, so for now, just going to throw the new head gaskets on it. and then throw the new cylinder heads on it, bolt it all back together, and then actually we need to replace the clutch too, which I'll get to that. Alright, got the cylinder heads on, all torqued down, got some new ARP bolts. Went ahead, threw the push rods and the rockers on and torqued those guys down. You can see, obviously, since this is aftermarket cylinder head, it has a different spring and retainer package, so it has dual valve springs in it. So could probably raise the rev limiter on this thing if we actually wanted to, but these things rev to 7,000, which is a little bit more than I think a lot of the other LSs. I've been out of the LS game for a while. I don't know, I had a LS1, 6-liter truck motor, and then I think I went back to an LS1 in my drift car, in my black, silver, and green S14. I had a improved racing oil pan baffle in the GTO pan. Always had oil issues. Every time I changed the oil, it was silver, and I was just over it and put the JZ in it, and then literally changed the oil for 5 years. Didn't really have any issues with it. Now it's in the Mustang, same exact motor, just beating the hell out of it. So stoked about this thing because it does have the factory dry sump. But yeah, you can see all back together. It's crazy because 17,000 miles. I guess it makes sense. Underneath the valve covers looks brand new. Looks just like a brand new motor engine, because that's essentially what it is. So before we actually drop this thing in, I do need to install the clutch. So as you can tell, this thing has an LS7 clutch, which is actually, it's stock, but a lot of people upgrade these things, or upgrade, like their LS1 to an LS7 style clutch, just because these things do come with 500 horse from the factory. So if somebody's like doing an F-body or something, that's like a simple upgrade that they do. But we're going to be yanking this thing off since we're going to be making a lot more power and clutch kicking and probably drag racing and doing burnouts and just doing a bunch of belligerent stuff. So we are working with Centerforce on this clutch. They actually have this. This is their DYAD. And this is a multi-disc or a twin disc clutch. So you can see they sent me a bunch of candy. It says I Heart Centerforce, and some stickers and stuff for the car. Got some documents, some important documents. But this thing is, I would say it's probably one of the baddest clutches you could get for one of these things right now. Come factory with ARP hardware. And I actually went with the little bit more of an upgraded version. So this has the ceramic, like more of puck discs, whereas they have another option that has more of an organic clutch, like a clutch type material. So that one will hold like 1,300 horsepower, and this one right here holds like 1,600 horsepower, which is just crazy. But I was talking to him on the phone, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be clutch kicking it a lot. I mean, probably not even clutch kicking it, but with the amount of torque that this thing's going to make. But we probably will end up drag racing it, doing a bunch of different stuff. This thing's going to be kind of a universal car. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other clutch removed off of here and get this thing on it. And the cool thing about a twin disc style clutch is you get a really, really aggressive, I guess, holding capacity without the aggressive pedal of like a single clutch disc. Because on a single clutch, you just have to add so much pressure to the pressure plate that when you push it down with the pedal, it's just really hard. Whereas these things, it's going to be a little bit stiffer than stock, but it should still drive. It should be still pretty manageable and pretty easy to drive. So I'm stoked about that. But yeah, we're going to get this thing installed on the motor and try to figure out that little situation with that, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so a little bit more of an update. Man, I think that it's finally hitting me. It's Thursday at 9:30. Well, no, Thursday at 8:30 at night, and just got the bell housing and everything back on. Got the intake manifold, all the wiring, all that stuff on it. Water pump accessories on the front, or everything that's at least on there. And then one of the things that I needed to do was actually delete the ABS pump and put that over there. But PBM, powered by Max, they actually make a lot of drift Corvette stuff now. Obviously, like Matt Field is sponsored by them for FD, so they make like a whole angle kit. They make a hydro e-brake that basically bolts on. So I got this thing. They actually ended up overnighting it just because I ordered it last week, but they didn't have the handle in stock. And so anyhow, they actually overnighted me the older version like a week ago, just because I needed it. I thought I was going to put it in before we actually went, or I thought we were going to be a little bit closer to the deadline. We ended up waiting, and then this other handle came in, so they overnighted this one too. So shout out to PBM. But basically what you do is you just delete that block. So instead of like cutting or splicing lines, you just delete the ABS, and you run the front brakes. Like it comes right out of the master cylinder, goes over here to the Y, and then splits into the front brakes. And then we have the one that goes for the rear brakes. It basically takes it right here off of the master cylinder, runs into the car, back out of the car, and then to the rear brakes. So the rear brakes will basically be going through the master cylinder, and that master cylinder is right here. So that's the PBM thing, and it basically just bolts on in the center console right underneath all this stuff, so Ty's messing with that. Got a hydro e-brake installed in here. Only had to cut one little section right there, but basically the lines just run right there up underneath the dash, and then through a hole up there into the engine bay. And we have a little bit of slack up there, so we can kind of play with it a little bit more, but it doesn't get in any way of the shifter. And man, super tight. I think I need to there's like a place to drill some holes right here, or put like a rivet or something like that, so I'll probably drill those. That was kind of a big deal, to actually being able to move on with the rest of everything. So now engine is ready. It's been basically ready most of the day. Just been kind of waiting on other things, and I need to install the speed bleeder while we're here for the clutch slave. So I'm gonna do that real quick, run that up here somewhere, and then we should be able to stuff the engine. We made a lot of progress. So engine is obviously in, alternator is in, coolant overflow thing is just kind of hanging out right here because we still need to throw on the coilovers. I have a mess of ABS delete brake lines and stuff right here, just due to installing the hydro e-brake over there. I installed my like twice as thick radiator. I bent the AC condenser back. We got the oil cooler back up here. We got all this stuff kind of figured out. I have all the AC lines hooked. Well, I didn't disconnect the AC lines. Got the coolant lines hooked up. Got the O2 sensors, everything up underneath the engine basically on there. The only thing we need to do is actually put some oil in this thing, fired up, and see how she runs. So I went ahead and I put the back piece of the middle piece of the exhaust. So we're basically going to start it up, and it's going to be straight piped is what it's gonna be, other than it still has the cats and the headers. But yeah, we're gonna fire it up here in a minute. I need to throw some oil in it. I need to do that, and then go from there. All right, where's the Garrett? Do you have the key fob?
Go ahead. Hold on.
Oh.
You're good. Waiting on you, Trev. To be continued. Take 3. It's not even like attempting to crank. Like, doesn't have like a crank signal. What could it be? Because everything on the engine stayed, and it was just that distribution block and then the ECU and stuff, right?
Yeah. tranny sensors and stuff I think are plugged in. The only thing, unless it's like a ground somewhere that's just not hooked up.
I mean, could be. But I don't. Everything in the harness stayed. So it would be grounded through like the engine and the distribution block, right? I don't see.
Because this is the big ground that goes
Into the.
well, that's the ground right there,
Yeah.
and this is the power.
And it didn't
It comes up over here for the starter. That gets its power from right there. This goes from the battery in the back.
We can get a multimeter and check.
All right, a couple more times. Hopefully this is the charm. Sounds better. Whoo! I think it's Garrett. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it. Let's see.
It's almost there. I thought it was gonna like pop and go.
I mean,
Is there fuel pressure?
doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I heard the pump, I think.
I didn't hear the pump. Maybe we should.
Pump it. Pump them. Pump.
Oh, yeah, we got fuel pressure.
So we had a dyno appointment with James right there.
Yeah.
And how many hours late are we?
Just a few.
It's about 4 hours late, I think.
About 4 hours.
When we were supposed to be on the dyno. And so he came over here and I was like, James, it's doing some weird stuff. Because I literally tried starting this thing at 4 o'clock and now it's 7:30. Having a little bit of an issue. It was backfiring through the intake. Was doing some weird stuff and it kind of popped once and then we lost fuel pressure. Well, I didn't have a plug plugged in over there. But now, as you can see, we have the valve cover off of here. And you want to go ahead and give it a crank? Give it a crank? Yeah. See if you guys can see anything that's weird. So, the lifters that I put in here are Johnson lifters, and they have a bar that links them together, and they don't have like that magical like plastic cage that doesn't really let the push rod not go in the perfect spot. And I guess I missed the hole is what happened. So we already did that side. There was 2 of them, and 2 cylinders had like 0 compression over there, and 4 cylinders over here had 0 compression.
So that's pretty much to diagnose it. We looked at everything. You ran it around with the compression tester and
yeah.
knew that you had some cylinders that weren't
Yeah.
performing.
And then so everybody was giving me so much crap about my timing, whether I timed it or not.
We're
And
just
I was.
when it's backfiring out the intake, it sure sounds weird.
You don't have compression on half of them. What is it?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, there's just like there's 2 dots.
No, you're right.
I want faith.
Hey,
like
you
Trevor's
can't whoop
faith
me.
in his timing.
You can't whoop me. So anyhow, we're gonna pull these rockers off and actually stick the thing down in the hole. And one of the things is I think I was putting it in there straight in, but when you actually look in the hole, the lifter is actually kind of to the side a little bit, which is kind of interesting, I guess.
3 times over.
Go ahead.
Do you ever feel that way?
Do it again.
You ever feel like you live your life 3 times over?
No.
Because you don't watch the videos.
Smoother, man.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for telling me to do a compression test, buddy.
Yeah, you should have done it 2 hours ago when I told you.
What?
Actually, you should have done it.
Walking around on the internet and
Arguing over my cam. I was sticking up for my cam timing though.
you have faith, but Well, you have a well, lot of faith. we don't know if it's good yet.
Holy shit.
We all said it was
He's
out
like,
of
I
time.
seen a
All of
picture
us.
on Google.
Well, it was out of time. Bottom line is it was out of time because shit wasn't opening when it's supposed to open. It wasn't closing when it was supposed to close.
Yeah, it still wasn't.
Still wasn't. It was out of time. I wasn't wrong.
Let's start it before I go home and eat dinner.
Yeah.
Hey, what if
Dinner
it's
sounds
still out of
nice,
time?
actually.
All the rocker arms are just.
All right, let's see.
Ready?
Yep. Hey, I know a guy. James, what do you think?
I think it runs.
It runs finally. So, did we video? I don't think we videoed it actually running nice again. Should we start it again?
Yeah, we can start it.
We're gonna start it again.
It's been a few minutes.
It's been a few minutes. So James hopped on the HP tuners, adjusted some idle airflow tables, and still got to play with some things. But it does have a cam in it. I thought it was like down on compression or something because I thought it sounded weird. But yeah, I did a silly thing and.
You wanted me to kill it.
Oh, I want
All right, let's start it again.
That's the little floppy cam right
Yep.
there showing up.
Back up and running.
All right, so she's back up. She's running. We're working on wrap things. We're working on suspension things. We're working on angle things. We're doing a bunch of stuff like that. But for now, this was the Texas Speed head and cam install on basically this video. So and the Centerforce clutch. Yeah, we can't forget about the clutch. So I'm excited to drive that thing with the clutch, see how it feels. We have a lot of other little buttoning up stuff to do with this thing. But I'm trying to go daily vlog with this thing, and we're going to be, bright and early tomorrow at the dyno.
Well,
Afternoon.
Actually, afternoon. So,
got to give you a few minutes. So
yeah.
about 24 hours later than what you originally planned.
48 hours, because I thought for some reason I was going to have this thing running Thursday night at like 6 p.m. And then now here it is, Friday at 9 p.m. We were supposed to be on the dyno at 3,
Yeah.
but now we're going to be over here. And we were going to wrap it one color, and we changed some stuff.
It's looking good though.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool Corvette.
It's running again.
It is running again. I didn't think it was gonna. Again, save 10% on Technic Tools using code Motion Auto. But if you guys like the Corvette content, if you're stoked for Drift Week, I'm late as hell for Drift Week, but we're gonna catch up with everybody. And appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you later.